This is an exciting day. One of the more exciting days on the calendar is we get the calendar, so to speak. The schedule has dropped. We might as well get into that, right? The 70th season for the BC Lions. We'll talk a bit about some signings and some coaching staff news we got this week. Ryan Phillips, as mentioned, will join us. A bit of an increased role for him on the staff, but we're heading to Toronto to kick things off, and yeah, we might as well. Should we go through this game by game? We'll talk about some of our favorite cities, but it's all going to start for us. The final game of the opening week. I do love how it's a Grey Cup rematch, by the way. Montreal in Winnipeg on the Thursday to open it up, and we won't even be heading to Toronto yet at that point because, again, we get the Sunday game. Lions and Argos. And quite the eventful trip we had to Toronto in Week 4 with the Vernon Adams Jr. interceptions. Unfortunately, you can't talk about that game without bringing up that, even though it wasn't all his fault. We knew the Toronto Argonauts wound up being a juggernaut, even though they didn't advance to the Grey Cup game. But, you know, this was a Grey Cup matchup that a lot of people, I think, wanted to see. And maybe is it a preview? Way too early to talk about it, but a pretty intriguing opening for this Lions squad.
I mean, it's only December 13th or 14th as of we record this, but I would say this could be qualified as a Grey Cup preview at this point. It's Toronto was 16-2 last year, obviously got upset in the Eastern Final, and then we were right there with Winnipeg too in the Western Final. So these are lining up to be two more juggernaut teams, and it's going to be an exciting Week 1 matchup.
Look this up, Nikki. First time opening a season against the Argos since way back in 2007.
I like how it's different too.
Yeah.
It's not what you expect.
I mean, save some of these divisional matchups until it gets a little more crucial on the schedule. But 2007 at what was then called the Rogers Center, or was it still Scott? Might have been the Rogers Center by that point. Yeah, and we all know that it's all about BMO Field now. So yeah, Sunday the 9th of June, 4 o'clock Pacific time. And then we'll get on the plane, come home, and get ready for a home opener. And based on the precedent Amar Doman, our owner, has set the last couple of years, might there be some cool entertainment? We think so. We don't know anything concrete yet. I'm loving this home opener against the Calgary Stampeders, Saturday, June 15th. One of 5 4 o'clock starts at Save on Foods Field at BC Place. Big home opener, playoff rematch.
Yeah, that's prime time too. Saturday at 4 o'clock. Thought that was a big hit last season. I mean, I sort of like beating the wheels off Edmonton the last 2 years, and the home opener is a little
time to change it up.
Yeah,
a bit.
But we'll keep Alberta in the mix and hopefully come out with another big bang in the home opener.
And here's what's interesting: one of only 2 meetings with Calgary's going to come twice. I will get to that eventually. It's a fully balanced schedule. It's only going to be Edmonton and Saskatchewan the Lions play twice, so apologies. Yeah, see, I haven't memorized this yet. Usually it takes me a while to memorize it. First of 2 trips to Vancouver by the Calgary Stampeders. We'll go to McMahon Stadium just the once like we did a year ago. But, big divisional test and a chance to set the tone. From there, stop me if you've heard this before. Week 3 at Winnipeg. Our first of 2 trips to Manitoba, and once again, they're the exact same weeks, starting in Week 3, only this time it's on a Friday, 5:30 Pacific, and the storylines will be huge again.
Yeah, I mean, run that one back too, right? We know what happened in Week 3 last year, and we know what happened in the West Final last year, the last 2 years, so it's always going to be intense when these two teams meet, and expect the same on Week 3 there.
Yeah, be nice to set a tone again like we did in 2023. And yeah, what else can we say? Winnipeg is going to be the hurdle. It's going to be a very tough division again, but until someone knocks Winnipeg off, you have to look at them as the measuring stick. And as we've seen, they've already hung on to a couple of key guys. Willie Jefferson's back. Kenny Lawler's under contract for another year, and he's gone for 200 against this Lions team before. So we have to make sure that doesn't happen again. Week 4, it's our only Thursday night at home of the season. You mentioned blowing the doors off Edmonton. Well, they only come once this year. We only go there once, as I was talking about. Elks at Lions, a Thursday night Week 4 contest, 7 o'clock. June 27th.
That's another thing that's different to me. I've never experienced a Thursday nighter at BC. Oh, that's a lie. Hamilton. in 2021.
We our only Thursday night in 2023 at home was preseason. So
in 2022 we played at Hamilton.
That's right.
So that's a lie. But Thursday's
See,
still
we
different.
both stubbed our toe here early. That's fine.
My point is Thursday's a little different for being at BC Place. So I'm excited for that one. And then it also kind of sets up a little bit of a mini bye week following.
Yeah. We get a weekend to kind of just chill and hang out. Because the following week, you mentioned Hamilton. Yeah, we don't play until Sunday. One of, I think, 4 Sunday road games, including the opener, like we talked about. Lions at Tiger Cats in week 5.
Yeah, the Sundays is kind of the theme here, right? It is 4 on the road that we go to, and I got to experience Hamilton as a employee for the first time last season in week 18 or week 19. Then we went there last year, and I love the stadium, so I'm excited to go back.
It was a fun one.
Great game, too.
Walk-off win, a big defensive score by Josh Woods. Dane Evans coming in and silencing his old fans. And, Hamilton's a good spot. And in the summertime, too, I mean, I think you'll appreciate it even more if you manage to get out a bit more and explore. If you're an outdoors guy, Hamilton's pretty good in the summer. So something to look forward to. Lions, Tiger Cats, and then a pretty nice thing of alternating home and away to start here. Saturday, July 13th, the lone visit from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Perhaps another watermelon smash?
Beat me to it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. 4 o'clock, BC Place.
Yeah, always a big deal when the Riders come in. That was a hugely successful theme last season, so hoping it's back and again beat the wheels off the Riders again. That's what we've been kind of doing the last 2 years.
Well, I'm intrigued. Corey Mace has gotten the head coaching job there. We think they're going to have a healthy Trevor Harris back at quarterback. I think they'll be in the discussion. I mean, there's a lot of pressure there because 2 straight years of long losing streaks for the Riders to end, and both times they ended up out of the playoffs. So always fun when the Riders come to town. Saturday, July the 13th. Week 7, back on the road, and another Sunday. Lions at Stampeders, lone visit to McMahon. A nice little streak at McMahon. 4 straight wins there, I think, in the regular season. 2021, twice in 2022, open 2023 with a victory there. So have to keep that streak alive.
Yeah, it's always been fun when we go to Calgary the last couple of years. You think of that overtime and comeback wins in 2022. We also go there in preseason as well for the first game of preseason. So
Saturday, the 25th of May, 1 o'clock Pacific.
Yep. So Calgary is one of my top cities. So I'm looking forward to that one.
And we'll be looking to go out strong before our first bye of the year comes in Week 8. So no game in Week 8. Flashing forward to Week 9, and once again in Winnipeg, Thursday. So, the Week 9 trip to start August in Winnipeg this past season didn't go as planned. 50-14 loss. Kind of missed an opportunity to really create some distance, but another 2-trip season to Winnipeg. Yippee.
It's kind of ironic how we have a bye before that one, too, based off the schedule last year and how that all played out. So, hoping that one's a little more balanced this season.
So that's a Thursday, August the 1st, which means we get to enjoy BC day-long weekend at home before another road trip. This begins a stretch, Nikki, of 3 straight on the road. Very crucial stretch. Sunday, August 11th, Lions at the Elks. Only trip to Commonwealth this year. And we expect Edmonton to be an improved team.
For sure. The whole division's going to be improved, right, based on what we saw last season. And it's another Sunday game. Hopefully the crowds are better there. I expect them to be this season, so should be a good atmosphere out in Edmonton.
I guess I should correct myself. That Winnipeg trip, the second of 3 straight on the road. We talked about visiting Calgary, so 3 straight road games with a bye sandwiched in there. And then we'll be back at home Sunday the 18th. We'll be done with Winnipeg. 3 meetings all finished on August 18th. Sunday, the lone Sunday at home, 4 o'clock, Winnipeg in town. And had quite the entertaining home game against them this past year. We won't revisit that whole thing, but if you can get this season series this time with the Bombers, perhaps get a split in Winnipeg, win the home game, should set us up well for the second half of the year.
Exactly. We saw it last season on how important that third meeting with Winnipeg was here at BC Place and how hyped it was going into the game and how important the result ended up being in the playoffs, right? So it's going to be huge. it always is huge to get the tiebreaker over a divisional opponent, but August 18th, I'm calling it now. It's shaping up to be a massive game in terms of the West standings.
Massive, yes, would be right. Lions did not visit Ottawa in 2022. 2023, sorry. I was not a fan of that. Again, it's a fully balanced schedule. We go everywhere, host everybody. Lions at Red Blacks Saturday, August 24th, 4 o'clock our time, Pacific time. Leading into Touchdown Pacific, cool little home and home here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like going to Ottawa too. It's going to be fun to go there, especially that we didn't go last year. Love the balanced schedule this year. And I think another factor is that it makes the Touchdown Pacific trip the following week fair. Both teams play in the exact same situations.
So a week in between the games.
Makes it fair.
So Saturday, August 31st, Royal Athletic Park. Very much looking forward to seeing the completion of that temporary venue, the new turf. We toured it a couple of weeks ago, home of the Victoria Harbour Cats baseball. Lions, Red Blacks in the Lions neutral site extravaganza. This is going to be fantastic and a great way to kick off Labor Day weekend.
Yep, Labor Day, that just adds another wrinkle to it. We talked about this in the last podcast, but that's game of the year territory just for all the events that are going to be based around it and the excitement of playing in Victoria.
Reminder, if you're a BC Lions season ticket member, you get dibs on your tickets for Touchdown Pacific. If you prefer not to opt in, no sweat. You can put that towards a playoff or Grey Cup ticket. So everybody's going to win in this situation. And I've got some friends, some people I know on the island who are asking me, how do I get tickets? How do I get tickets? Well, become a Lions season ticket member is probably the best way. Not sure how many comps we're going to get outside of our own 2 tickets, but this is going to be a special event, and we look forward to sort of announcing as we go along here. I'm sure there'll be some cool festival-type announcements, maybe some entertainment, who knows. But at the end of the day, it's a meaningful game in the standings, and from a football perspective, the team will have to be mindful of that. No bye after this. We go to Montreal Friday, September the 6th. You know how I feel about Montreal in my city rankings, which we'll get to perhaps in a couple of minutes. Lions at Alouettes. Our first look at the defending Grey Cup champions, 4:30 on the 6th of September. First post-Labor Day starts no more Thursdays or Sundays. So Friday night to kick off Week 14.
Bit of deja vu there for me too. These 3 years I've been here now, it's been going around that September 1st to September 6th range.
It was Labor Day weekend this past year.
Yeah, we go to Montreal, so it feels like every time September rolls around, we head to Montreal, and that's fine with me. It's great weather there too, so got the sunlight going down right during individual warm-ups. It's great.
Go to Stogie's Cigar Bar again, perhaps on Thursday night.
See where the chips fall.
Yeah. Love Montreal, absolutely. Back home Friday the 13th. Good stretch of Fridays here. For this Lions team, this is a big stretch, Nick. 3 home games in a row with a bye week to follow in there as well. Sorry. So a very important post-Labor Day stretch. We have some home games. Argonauts did not visit in 2023. They're here on Friday, September 13th, 2024.
Yeah, and based off how that last Week 4 meeting, which at the time will be the last time we played Toronto, ended. I know a lot of conversations I had with players, fans, everybody was saying we need Toronto again. We need to play them again. We need that revenge factor to it, and we need them to come over to BC Place and show them how we protect our house kind of thing, and do that or perform at home and all that. So if we expect the Toronto to be as good as they were last season, this game's going to be played after Labor Day. You know, we know what they say about games played after Labor Day and how much more important they get, and this one should be all that in September.
From there, that's a 7 o'clock start, by the way, but then from there, bye week number 2, and then we're home Friday the 27th. Have a hunch this is going to be our Truth and Reconciliation Orange Shirt Day game. Would be the 4th annual. Again, full game themes to come before we head to training camp, hopefully early in 2024. Tiger Cats at Lions. Belated congrats to our friend Ed Hervey, officially named GM in Hamilton as they reshuffle the deck a little bit. Scott Milanovic, the head coach, with Orlando Steinauer staying on in a senior management role. Hamilton, a lot of questions again with the Ticats. Who's going to be playing quarterback? like us, like everyone else, they have some important free agency decisions, guys to hang on to, guys that they'll lose, but a cat fight to close out September.
Yeah, and like you said, it's going to be tough to even predict what's going to happen with the Tiger Cats heading into this season. So that's going to be exciting, the kind of the unknown factor. Who knows where they'll be at the end of September too. So this one could be a very important game. Hamilton over this past decade has stayed quite competitive. So that'll be exciting. And then I'm just looking at the schedule now here too, right in front of me. There's 4 Fridays in a row at this point. This would be the third one.
Yeah.
The Montreal game starts off that Friday night stretch. So a lot of Friday nights coming up in the fall.
And note the start time of 7:30 and the third home game of this stretch, this 4-week stretch where we don't have to get on a plane. Third and final meeting with Calgary Friday, October the 4th. That, based on the calendar, maybe is that a Gravy Bowl opportunity? We don't know. We know it's Thanksgiving weekend. Third and final meeting, again, we talked about the importance of the season series with Winnipeg. If we can win it again against Calgary, should set ourselves up nicely. This will be a big one, I have a hunch.
I think there's a bit of a revenge factor in this game, too. You probably think at first glance, you say, oh, what do you mean? We beat them in the playoffs the last 2 years. But the past 2 seasons, Calgary's come here toward the end of the year. In 2022, they came at the end of September. And obviously last year, they came the final game of the season. And Calgary got quite convincing wins in both of those games, right? So I think there's a revenge factor to beat Calgary in the regular season at home, because they've came in here twice the last 2 seasons, like I said, and beat us pretty bad. So got to change that up in the fall here.
Yeah, Vernon's first home game in 2022, right? Second end of a home-and-home. And final game of the year for us this past season. The Stampeders were a desperate team, but that's no excuse. That Lions team was not happy with how they ended their regular season, and thankfully used a bye week and a long week of prep to win when it mattered. Friday, October 4th, and then from there we go Saturday the 12th. Always a highlight for us, Nick. Sadly, we only do it once in the regular season. Lions at Rough Riders, 4 o'clock Pacific time. Mosaic Stadium, Regina. Enough said. We love it. Victoria's Tavern. Here we come, baby.
Yep, exactly. And the one thing that immediately when I saw the timing of this game, October, it'll be an evening game. I hope they did that blackout for us. I love watching.
Yeah.
I've never been to a game at Saskatchewan where they do that blackout pregame. And I think they even turn the lights off during the commercial breaks, like how we do in the fall here too. But I've always watched those games on TV and been jealous of it. The bring them out, the whole entrance for the Riders is top of my list personally. And to see that with the lights out, I think would be fantastic in person. And just the energy pregame in Mosaic is different. It's one of my favorite moments of the season to capture.
Especially this point of the year.
Yeah.
Both these teams are going to have heavy playoff implications, you think, in mid-October. So
that too, yeah.
Yes, and unfortunately we only go there the one time, but that's okay. We want to host them perhaps in November. And all of a sudden, we're at our regular season finale, Saturday, October the 19th, because once again, we have a bye to wrap up the regular season. Defending Grey Cup champion Montreal Alouettes, 4 o'clock start, or final home 4 o'clock start of the regular season is the last game of the year. And what's at stake? Are we clinching first place with the win? Do we have to win to keep our first place hopes alive? A lot of possibilities, which you don't have to dive into yet. But again, with the Alouettes, they're looking to run it back. They've also re-signed Tyson Philpott in the past couple of days. Nick, Grey Cup hero, great local guy, son of a Lion legend in Corey. And our first look at the defending Grey Cup champions at home here is the last game.
Yeah, they've been busy lately these past 2 weeks, and I don't blame them. Obviously, they're coming off quite a run in the playoffs and a championship season, so there could be talks about this one being a Grey Cup preview right before the season ends and goes to the playoffs. And to one last thing I'd like to add is that Week 21 bye, I'm jacked for that too. I think on and off the field that benefited everybody last season. It was great to have heading into the playoffs, and hope it's the exact same situation here. Or having 2 byes in a row now with getting first place possibly. Yeah,
it was a good compromise this time around. There was a bit of practice toward the end of the week, a couple of light practices, practice some situational elements. So it worked out from a schedule-wise. Yeah, you needed a break from the day-to-day grind at that point, allow some guys to heal up. So you have to use it to your advantage if it falls your way. What's interesting, though, is 3 teams are on a bye at the end this week. It's just the Lions this time, just us. There will be 4 games in Week 21, so always intriguing. Winnipeg goes to Montreal. That's interesting. The Grey Cup rematch is bookended. First week, last week. Calgary's at Saskatchewan, at Sask to end. Could be some heavy implications there. You never know. Toronto and Edmonton, Hamilton in Ottawa. So hopefully all of those games mean something, and hopefully from a Lions perspective, it's just waiting to see who's going to meet in the West semifinal if can lock up first place. But
Saturday playoff games too.
Yep, Saturday playoff games, money again, and all roads lead back to BC Place, the 111th Grey Cup, Sunday, November the 17th, and let's hope we're there as a participant, and it's a busy Grey Cup week downtown Vancouver, practicing at BC Place, doing it all. So there you have it, 70th season, and we're excited to honor our history in some form. I'd imagine that would be one of the heavy game themes we announce at some point. Don't really have any details right now, but